This game has gotten some questionable reviews. I really don't understand. People say this game is lane-based StarCraft, probably got infected with some sort of brain parasite. So, the game is similar to Dawn of War or Company of Heroes or Iron Harvest. Each unit is a squad of troops or a hero, or a really high tier unit. You get the point. You control victory points to win a match, and that is the only victory condition. You can control points to get resources and build in those points mines for resources or defensive structures such as healing or AoE damage. The game excels in combat and has a very simple, straightforward gameplay look that is very focused on combat and troop strength. Each troop has at least one ability and most likely one or two upgrades for you to choose from. Heroes tend to have two abilities. The good part, you don't have to worry about your base being destroyed. The game looks beautiful. Each faction looks different from each other. There are 4 factions, which is more than some games. There is a campaign, a multiplayer and a conquest mode, as well as custom maps. Nothing feels more rewarding than seeing your best units on the field smashing up to 5 squads at once. Early pushes into the enemy territory to building a healing structure to bully your opponent is some of the most fun you can do in this game. Cool boys go hooga booga smash! The conquest mode is very fun, roguelite score attacker with battles where you have access to the highest tier units from the start, for example. The AI has 5 difficulty settings and feels properly fleshed out, so the offline is good. Now the bad part. The online is dead. Killed, dusted. If you find the online game, first off, send me a friend request on Steam. The game price with all the DLCs on Steam is a joke compared with what you get. You can buy Warhammer Dawn of War 2 Master Collection. This game with all the DLCs is like 80 or 90 euros. I might have gotten the Ultimate Edition for 2 euros on a different site. Unless they update it on Steam with maybe a Skaven faction. I think only buy this game if you're really into the offline. Since the game is so battle focused and simplified, here's what you might dislike about that. Lack of structures to defend. You can realistically win a game without building any extra structure. You, in most games, only need to max 1 point capture at 100% and 1 realm stone mine for about 90% of the units you're gonna build that game. Once your troops get stuck in melee combat, they get stuck there until they die or win. You have to pay resources for they to retreat if they're losing. That makes ranged units way more versatile, and they often perform way better than the melee units with triple the damage output. Some players come into this game expecting a game like Total War, for example, build your 4 type game, will be very disappointed. What I like and think this game excels at, it's the combat and fight. Some tips to start the game. If you pick the Zentak, be careful. Hero is one that requires some of the biggest skill to place because it loses in melee combat to pretty much about anything. So you really have to steer him away being locked in melee combat. So be careful with that. Always keep a melee squad with him. And the ranged units are some of the most broken units in the game since they run in and explode when they die. Nighthaunt don't recruit the melee units, they are useless. The first tier melee units are completely garbage. Always go with the ranged units. You have your hero to do the meleeing. Your hero can 3v1 with their ability, but gets outscaled pretty hard. At the beginning he has poor stats, at the end of the game he's a wet paper towel. Cruel boys lose early to pretty much about anyone, so expect to be pushed in early and be hard to control. When you get to tier 2 and you spam the Svogovs are amazing. They win against pretty much anything tier 1 and tier 2 in melee combat, and then after they win, they regen to full HP. So you can just have them in a point, win against everything, and then they start regenning. The Stormguard are the overall still the same as the Cruel Boys. Slow early game and ramping late game. They feel a bit easier to play than the Cruel Boys because their hero unit doesn't sacrifice health for damage in their ability. But yeah, Stormguard, kinda boring, kinda standard, very strong. Overall gameplay, 7.5 out of 10. graphics and soundtrack, nothing against it. I haven't played the campaign mode because the conquest mode is just so addicting. The voice lines fix the game, the graphics are stunning, and the unit design alone sells this game. The AI is also enough of a challenge for you to experience all the units in their might. I also been reading that the campaign is pretty solid and actually one of the better aspects of the game. The army livery is a cool touch. You can customize the colors of your army. The sound effects hit the mark, solid 9 out of 10. So, the price. Here's the thing, this is no Saint game. This is a very money hungry game with all the DLCs and Ultimate Edition. So I used Instant Gaming to buy it with only €2. If you don't trust them, go to istthereadeal.com and you can get it for about €13. That's a pretty damn good price. So the price, final score, knowing these two different prices, gets an 8 out of 10.